The story begins in a wagon carrying two children. A blonde girl looked at the boy and asked him to pay attention to her. She remembered that he was 12 years old and exclaimed that she was the same age. Playfully, she questioned who would be the younger sibling since they were both the same age. The boy seemed indifferent but eventually compromised, suggesting she could be the younger sister. The girl, however, insisted she had never asked for such a role. Ignoring her protests, the boy stated that what truly mattered to him was that they were going to be a family. This boy, Boris Jinneman, had not always been so carefree. He was the son of Yulkin Jinneman, the lord of the Travaches of Longord. 12 years earlier, Boris had been born into a family marked by tragedy. The narrative shifted to a somber scene where a woman lay motionless in a casket, presumably Boris's mother. A maid, holding infant Boris in her arms, mourned the loss while reflecting on the Jinneman family's renown. She spoke softly about how Boris and his elder brother Yevgen would one day inherit a legendary suit of armor passed down through generations. She expressed her concerns, fearing that the master of the house might resent Boris, the second child, due to the mother's untimely death. Despite her worries, the maid took solace in Yevgen's kindness, hoping he would shower Boris with affection. She whispered a plea for Boris's survival, knowing the family's future was fraught with danger. The narrative then described the state of their war-torn nation, the presence of a vengeful uncle exiled from the family, and the threat of revolution that could obliterate them all. Yet, the maid remained resolute, believing that even in the face of annihilation, a survivor would emerge to uphold the family's honor. The Jinmans, after all, never forgot acts of love, kindness, or wrongdoing. Later, Boris was shown sitting beside another maid, who warned him never to go near Lake Amera. The lake, visible from the estate, was said to glow ominously during stormy nights, as if it were alive and waiting to consume anyone who approached. The next day, Boris lay under a tree with Yevgen, sharing his concerns about the lake. Yevgen reassured his younger brother that he need not worry about such tales, and promised always to be there for him. Boris noticed something unusually bright about Yevgen's smile, but quickly dismissed the thought, returning the smile in kind. Yevgen playfully poked Boris with a wooden sword, reminding him of a promise to practice. Boris charged enthusiastically, but was stopped with a gentle tap to the head. Yevgen chuckled and advised him to get within range before attacking. The two clashed swords again, and Yevgen complimented Boris's improving form, though he quickly deflected another attempt. After several tries, Boris finally landed a hit, prompting Yevgen to jokingly collapse. When Boris asked why he had fallen, Yevgen grinned and asked, "Who hit me first?" The brothers laughed together, their bond evident in the moment. Meanwhile, Yulkin, their father, observed the scene from afar. He scoffed at their carefree demeanor, muttering that it was no time for play. His expression darkened as he noticed something unsettling. Their practice was interrupted by a messenger who arrived breathlessly, warning them to stay away from the estate. Vlado Jinneman, their estranged uncle, had returned. The brothers exchanged worried glances. Back at the mansion, Vlado stood ominously beside a horse. The headmaster reluctantly allowed him inside, noting the disdain in Vlado's gaze. As Vlado took in the familiar surroundings, he remarked on how little the house had changed. Sharing drinks with the headmaster, Vlado began reminiscing about his and Yulkin's youth, particularly their sparring matches. He pointed out how Yulkin often got into trouble for not behaving as the eldest should. Yulkin, unimpressed, dismissed the memories, but Vlado pressed on. Turning to the matter at hand, he revealed that Prince-elect Khan, his ally, would soon become the chief elector. When that happened, Yulkin, aligned with the rival prince-elect, would become a threat. Vlado claimed he had come to secure the family's survival. Yulkin dismissed the idea as nonsense and ordered him to leave. Vlado reminded Yulkin that the mansion belonged to both of them, as it had been passed down jointly. Yulkin, growing enraged, accused Vlado of being responsible for their sister's death. Vlado vehemently denied the accusation, insisting Yulkin was to blame. The argument escalated, with Yulkin smashing a cup in frustration. Vlado spoke of the family's stubbornness and how their division mirrored the potential future of Boris and Yevgen. He issued an ultimatum. If Yulkin handed over the winter bottom kit, all past transgressions would be forgiven. Yulkin, now armed with a sword, swore that even if his head were split open, Vlado would gain nothing. As Vlado left, he vowed to take everything from Yulkin. Yulkin called for his servant, preparing to resist. Meanwhile, Yevgen and a man rushed Boris to a hidden room. Yevgen retrieved the winter bottom kit, legendary armor stolen from a slain territorial lord. Passed down for generations, it was meant for the family's protection. Yevgen explained the kit's significance, naming its components, the snow guard and the winterer. He allowed Boris to choose, and Boris picked the winterer, finding it lighter. In the present, Yevgen requested to borrow the Winterer. Boris, though reluctant, agreed, believing it was never truly his. Yevgen reassured him, promising its return after the family's vendetta was resolved. The brothers heard commotion outside. A mob holding torches demanded the replacement of the Jinman house's master. Yulkin stood resolute, challenging them to face him. Beside him, a man cast a spell, summoning a colossal, snake-like creature, the Kriegel, from the icy plain. The beast loomed, its presence dwarfing the mansion as the soldiers hesitated in terror.